All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Happy Monday. Hello, Jen.
Hello.
Holiday season is here
It is.
in full effect. So this will go out the Monday before Christmas.
Cool.
So Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
I love this time of year. It feels like you have so much more to do and it's more stressful, but it also feels, I don't know if nostalgic is the right word, or there's something about it that's relaxed. Like
And the magic of it all is really cool.
The other night, it was not a rush, but we got 3 kids and there was a concert at the school, a chorus concert, and it's like wrestling kittens into a box, right? Getting our kids ready to head out the door. And the school is, what is the school, Jen? 8 minutes from here?
Yeah.
7 minutes from here. And it's still, we make it just on time and whatever, everything worked out. But also then you get to sit in the audience and we got to watch Gwen and her classmates sing Christmas songs.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So there's the stresses and
I made it last minute. I was 8 minutes late, but on time for the performance.
Yeah.
Coming in hot.
Made it. You were coming in hot. And there was no seats left. So Oliver had to sit on your lap, which he was stoked about, by the way.
Yeah.
He was already
a win-win.
There was a seat across from us. And I said, I'll just slide over there and Mom can have my seat. And then they not only filled that seat, but they brought another chair in an auditorium. So Oliver was like, hey, Dad, someone took your seat. Haha, I get to sit on Mom's lap. Anyway.
It worked out.
Thanks for listening, people, to our banter. So today we're going to talk about slow seasons and how they're predictable, but how the panic that we see online is optional.
All right.
Right? If that makes sense. And if it doesn't, we'll get there. But we always start with our opening takes. Opening takes, Jen.
Okay, you want me to go first?
I don't care. Whatever you want.
Mine's like kind of funny. It's funny and I think relatable because So Todd and I talk all the time about systems in place. And sometimes there's a system that maybe we didn't have that we need to have. And this is where it's quite funny. So quickly last night when I was leaving, we have a cleaning list, going through it, doing whatever it is that I'm helping out with the staff. And I'm trying to empty all the trashes. And as I empty a good amount of trashes, I go to grab the trash bags. And there is an empty box sitting in the cabinet with no trash bags in it. So I'm like, who does this? And what is happening? So I stop emptying the trashes. I quickly go on to our Slack communication just so that everybody's aware we're out of trash bags. Also that the new system in place is when we run out of something, anything, rather than put it back empty, please let us know so we can replace it. So I'm being funny here, but it's easy to get frustrated, especially we're in the season of very busy, lots going on. And I just turned what was like a little frustrating, okay, we have no trash bags, to a little bit funny. And now I guess we need a system in place. Todd and I are like, I guess we need a system for when we run out of things. What do you do? Everybody sometimes needs a list. So now when we run out of something, there's an A, B, and C, and this is how it's done so that we can replace it. This morning, I went to the store and I got a backup for everything that could run out over the next week. We are fully stocked. But sometimes your systems fail. In our case, it was someone didn't know to let us know we were out of trash bags and they put an empty box back. So there it is. Now we have backup to a backup of trash bags. And when one gets low, someone better let us know because that's our new system in place. So make sure your systems are in place, even for trash bags. Merry Christmas.
We'll put some fail safes in there with some markers because I don't think anybody put that box back realizing it was empty.
I'm sure.
I think somebody was rushing and just put it back. But
yeah, just a funny story because I think all the time you talk about everything you can do in your business to make your business great, but sometimes you need to hear real things that I wouldn't say that's a huge go wrong in our business. Quickly had trash bags this morning before we opened.
A huge go wrong?
Yeah, huge go wrong.
A huge failure?
Sure, a huge failure. Or
a huge go wrong.
A huge go wrong.
I like it.
But a system that just needed to be in place, or a reminder that someone has to notify us, or we're not going to know until we go to grab it.
Yeah, you don't
just
want
being real.
A go wrong to happen.
Yeah, you don't want to go wrong, especially in the next week where it's really busy. We want no go wrongs.
All right.
Someone's going to use that. Probably not.
No, nobody's going to use that. I apologize to the listeners for having to listen to Jen.
Oh, enjoy.
All right, my opening take, I just pulled this up randomly from my phone. I wrote this paragraph. I don't even remember when. It just was randomly in my notes. Sometimes I have a thought and I just write it down because it works well for these opening takes. So I wrote, be completely passionate about what's right in front of you. Too many people chase these giant goals and miss the really good stuff that life has to offer. And I'm not saying don't be ambitious to avoid long-term goals, but what I'm saying is don't forget to stop and smell the roses. I stole that quote. To not let too much time pass before you absorb beauty or feel gratitude. Allow yourself the wins that social media tells you aren't good enough to post. Because let me tell you from experience, they're more than enough, and you likely already have everything you could ever need. That's my
I love it.
Thanks, homie. All right, so Christmas, we want to keep this kind of light and quickish, even though we're eating up time here with our banter and our opening takes.
I find it very entertaining.
I feel like when I think of the end of the year, it reminds me of football. Hear me out here. I'm going to use this analogy. If people follow the NFL or any football at all, what happens when you get towards the goal line is very similar in our businesses is when we get towards the end of the year. And it's when things feel a little bit compressed. You're running out of time before you shut down, most likely for at least a few days, hopefully during Christmas, if not a week, if not longer, whatever that looks like. It's the same thing in football. As you get closer to the goal line, it becomes increasingly difficult on average, to score. Why is that? That's because you have less options to run plays, because you have less field to work with. That's because the defense doesn't have to cover as much ground because the field is compressed. And all things being equal, I think it's a pretty relative feeling that people can relate to. Yeah. So it's definitely not a surprise that there's seasonality in business. In every industry, there's really busy times. There's your kind of cruising, this is good, but not great, not terrible times. And then there's your slow times. I don't think that any industries that I can think of don't really experience that.
Right.
Especially when you're dealing with what we deal with in the Northeast, which is weather. It's unpredictable in the winter. I have no idea. I'm looking outside right now. It's not supposed to snow. Can fool me. It looks like it's going to snow any second.
Definitely does.
And so the hair industry is no exception. This happens every year, and it makes it a pattern, not a crisis. So if you have a pattern, that means you have data. That means that you have assessed the situation. You've stepped back to a macro level. You've looked at your books year over year, and you've determined that, wow, July in the Northeast can be slower, and so can winter. Now, you don't have any fires to put out because you've identified that.
Right.
But we see a lot of people that are like, I'm freaking out. What are we supposed to do? And it's like, what did you do last year? What did you do the year before?
Right.
And a slow season, it doesn't mean that you're failing. It doesn't mean that the sky is falling. It doesn't mean that the industry sucks and it's not what it was and this generation and clients suck and everyone's canceling. That's not necessarily what it means. But when you pretend that it comes out of nowhere, I don't think that helps.
I agree.
Putting your head in the sand, as you would say, Jen.
Yeah, it's like they wake up and all of a sudden, like, why are we slow? And like you said, if you look at your numbers from year to year, you should have anticipated that it's going to be similar. Hopefully you're a little bit better and already had a plan in place months ago for this.
Yeah, dude. If
we see people that are like, what do we do now? And we're like, you have 1 week till Christmas. If that, like you said, they're not even probably open all like the next 7 days. Like you're already too late to really do anything.
If something happens every year, it's not bad luck. It's data. And
right.
You have data. That's good. It might not be good right now, but that helps you to create stability in your future, which is what we talk about a lot. It's Jen, you say all the time, and I'll probably butcher this, that business is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be times when you sprint because there's going to be times where you just have to go hard because you want to get a certain goal or you want to hit a certain thing or you want to get an employee up and running quickly or whatever. There's going to be times where it feels a little more chaotic, and that's okay. But for the most part, business is planning year over year over year over year over a decade and trying to build something that is stable. And you can't do that by just reacting.
Right.
So what are I had two most common reactions that I see from people, and this is where people go wrong. The first one is panic. And that is what we're talking about. And the other one is passivity. So where people are just, I guess I'll just put my head in the sand and just try to figure it out. That doesn't help you for next year.
Right.
So you don't want to do that. What do those things look like? And this might be you. This definitely used to be us. I feel like some of this stuff, but panic looks like discounts. You really don't want to do that. We can talk about that in a little bit too. It looks like frantic posting. I'll just post a bunch. And it looks
I've never posted, but right now I'm going to post 7 times a day.
We're going to talk about that too. And it looks like copying other salons because you got to be working for them, right? Which just doesn't separate you. So don't do that. And what does being passive look like? It looks like saying stuff like, we'll just wait it out, or disengagement, or like I said, blaming the economy, for example. That's not helping you. You can go, it's the economy's fault. The economy's down. Is that going to get more clients in your doors?
No.
Is saying over and over again that the younger generation just doesn't get it filling your books?
No,
that was rhetorical, Jen, but I love how you answered me that. Just in case,
having fun with it.
Just in case people didn't get it, where I was going there.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, so both of those responses are reactive, and neither of them is what I would say leadership looks like.
Yeah, and there's no solution.
Exactly. So your problem isn't really the season, it's how you respond to it. That becomes your challenge. Of course, the dog's
That's our dog. I think nothing.
You know what seasonality it is right now? It's Christmas seasonality, so there's probably some packages coming. All right, let's jump into how a successful person might look at seasons.
Let's.
Or seasonality, or whatever you want to call it, okay? I think if you look at it almost like you look at weather, because that's something that changes quite frequently, at least here in the Northeast. Maybe if you're in the Southwest, you have consistent weather, but we don't have that here at all in any way, shape, or form. But either way, when the weather changes, you don't get mad at it. You don't get mad at the winter. It's just something that you have to deal with. You know it's coming every year. So you don't act shocked when it's cold outside. You just prepare differently. You dress warmer. You stay inside till you have to leave. You warm up your vehicle. You take steps. And I think that when you start to think about how we look at life outside of business, it makes business easier to look at inside of the business. Because we already do this stuff. We just don't think about it. It's more frustrating when it's business, I feel. Or it's more stressful because it's your paycheck. It's your money. And I totally get that. But it doesn't mean that you can't start to view these things in a different light. And in one that, in those examples about being shocked about when it's cold outside, you're already doing that. You already know how to do that. You already know how to apply that in certain areas of your life. So you should be able to apply it to your business. And I know it's easier said than done, but if we don't start talking about it, it's never going to happen.
Well, yeah, like we saw, I think it was a post today about just a salon. We're super slow. Is everyone else slow? They were literally just looking for everyone to co-sign on how slow they were.
Yep.
So every salon that was slow is going, yes, we're slow, we're slow. But here's the problem. If you're right now, wow, I'm slower, like it's just not as busy as I thought it was going to be, or it's not as busy as I was last year, this is the time to plan for next year, not to just go on Facebook and have everybody co-sign how slow they are. And then before you know it, it's New Year's and you've moved on and you've forgotten how slow you were. So when you're in this moment of being slow or any frustration in your business, what can you do to change it? And how can you make those changes in the future rather than just get someone to make you feel better about it, but you're not doing anything about that to make a change?
I'm going to touch on, Jen, in a minute, things that you can do now for next year, things that you can do a few months out from your slower seasons next year, and then things that you can do to execute during your slow times. And hopefully that helps people because, Jen, like you're saying, a lot of people want to go online and just find their confirmation bias.
Yeah.
And just be okay with it. Yeah, they're fine with it. And that's okay. You can be that owner that goes, oh, it's just slow, and accept it. Or you can be the owner that's proactive, take a step back, make decisions, make some changes, and look at things. For example, what can we look at? We can look at budgeting. If you're slow, that means you have more time to do ownership. Everybody wants to be an owner till it's time to do ownership. Let's do some ownership. Let's do some budgeting. Let's look at staffing and make decisions. Do you need to cut down somewhere? Is your business that slow? Do you have front desk, for example, that you're not getting an ROI on? We've worked
Right.
with people in the past that absolutely refuse to address that issue, and they're losing tens of thousands of dollars because they're paying people and they're not getting anything back for it.
Right.
And if that's you, that's totally fine. I'm not saying fire your front desk staff. What I'm saying is a salon can operate, and we do operate without a front desk staff. You
And
need
it may be time to reevaluate that part of your business.
exactly. And I think for a lot of salons, you would benefit greatly from having a front desk staff. We
Mhm.
built ours around not
Right.
having it. So our point is it can be done.
Mhm.
Maybe you're looking at your marketing. Maybe you're looking at where you're spending your energy. Are you even spending energy in the right places? For example, we talked about discounting. If you're spending all your energy putting out discounts year after year, say you've been a stylist for the past 5 to 8 years, and the past 6 years you've done discounts, and every year you still say, wow, it's so slow. Are those discounts working?
Right.
So start to look at where you're putting your energy and stop fighting the seasons. Stop fighting that stuff. Build around them. So now, what can people do now for next year this time? Let's break it down. I have for salon owners, and then we'll talk about hair pros. And Jen, just jump in here, please.
As I always do.
Yeah. So first, for a salon owner, you have to look at this as this isn't grind time. This is just time to look at your work or look at how you're designing your year or take a step back rather and look at things on a bigger level. And you want to look back without emotion too, which is difficult, but you want to look at math. I just was emailing with somebody that was like, I need help with figuring out my pricing for not to be emotional and not demographics, but like math.
Mhm.
What do you want to look at? What time does it start slowing down? For us, we notice in the Northeast, at least, a lot of people take vacations in July. So it tends to be a little slower. That's when it's nice here. It's beautiful. People want to be at the beach. People want to be up in Maine. People want to go to the Cape. They're not necessarily coming in to get their hair done. It's also the winter time. And a lot of that winter isn't necessarily the holidays are slow. It's the unpredictability. It's the random Tuesday that we're closing down because the governor says, please don't go on the roads. There's an ice storm coming. No one has power. Maybe you should look at how long it's been slow for or how long it stays slow. Look at what broke. Is there anything in your system that stopped working? Maybe something shut off. Maybe you have automated marketing or ads or whatever, and you forgot to update a card, or I'm just throwing ideas out. Maybe something turned off, something broke.
I think too, if you've been in business, and Todd, you could talk more for this statistically, but for let's say even 2 years, you now have the data to show you if December is slow to you right now, what was December last year? What was December the year before? However long you can look at it. And surprisingly, you may be up from those years, which means you're not as slow as you feel. I say that because in October, I had said to Todd, wow, October is so slow. And he's like, well, actually, Jen, it's busier than it was last year. Now, for whatever reason, when I was in there, I felt like we were slower than normal, but we weren't. Our numbers were up. So
Not math, not emotion.
based on math, not emotion. Exactly. So these are like real things to look at because I was seeing it on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, we're wicked slow. And then Todd just was like, we're not. Because again, on math, yes. But in the salon, it just had a slow feel to me. But financially, statistically, all of our numbers were up from the year before. So really wasn't that slow. So sometimes it's not sometimes, always, it's looking at the data from the years prior to really get a point on, are you as slow as you think you are? And then what does that look like? And then you can put a plan in place.
Yeah, for sure. So, and I was going to say, there's going to be certain things that you're going to want to protect. And maybe there's going to be certain things that, so protect, maybe that means cash flow, your energy, your culture. Maybe those are things that you can start to cultivate during these times. If you have slow time, don't just not use that use that time for working on boss stuff like I was joking about before. And maybe there's things that you need to pause. I don't know. Maybe you have extra programs. Maybe you have extra software somewhere that you don't need or whatever. There are things that you could cut back, and maybe you're cutting back on that stuff seasonally. I don't know what other businesses look like. We don't really have anything like that, but I'm sure some businesses out there do. What does this look like in practice? Maybe you're doing some sort of rough quarterly planning. Break your year up into 3-month chunks and you have your quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's working on building your reserves while you're busy. Put some money aside. If, for example, say, just pick a month. I don't know. August. August is what? Why are you laughing at me?
I don't know. Like pick a month.
I almost said July, but we just was
Yeah, I know.
So maybe August is a killer month for you every year, and you're doing double what you do on other typical months. Great. Why don't you put that money away for when it's slow so that you don't have to freak out? Just a little bit of planning can help you. And maybe know when your marketing has to start before the slow season. Because let me tell you, we don't, in the Northeast at least, we don't prepare for winter in December. We are
Right.
already prepared for it.
And on to what you're saying, the marketing part is really so important. We've done marketing for years now. But when I go into, say, this week and there's openings during the week, for some owners, they're like, wow, we're so slow. Why are there openings? I look at it as an opportunity because I know that our marketing is working for us. So I know those spots are pretty much filling in from all the marketing that we do. And each day I look at, everybody's now full, but there's like on the next day, there's still openings, which it means we're allowed now or able to service either somebody new or a client that hasn't already pre-booked that now will have the availability to come in. I look at those openings as opportunities, not as discouragement.
Agreed. So that's what owners can focus on. Let's chat a little bit about what hair pros can do. So you're
Mhm.
behind the chair, your booking doesn't slow down overnight. It's not just one day you hit November and there's nothing on your books and you're surprised by that. It's definitely something that fades over time. So what can you do, or what can you start to think about as someone behind the chair? And please don't hit me. We 100% understand as commission salon owners that it's 99% our responsibility to book clients for people. I get that. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing your part behind the chair to make sure that the clients keep coming back to you.
Absolutely.
Because I see that on Facebook a lot too, where people will say it's a commission salon owner's job to fill the books of the people. And while I don't disagree, it's your job behind the chair then to retain those people using the systems that we've put in place to build your career. So if you're not capable of doing those things, I don't know really what to tell you. You wouldn't work for us, but maybe during your busy months, you start to look at rebooking habits.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you change yours. Maybe you're really pushing people to rebook. I don't know what that looks like. Don't be pushy.
Right.
But you can leverage people and you can make it seem like you're doing this for them because it is customer service. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Jen, you talk a lot about, do you have any parties coming up? When are those? What do your holidays look like? Let's book that now. And you start to talk about that in the middle of the summer with people.
Absolutely. So if you're one of those people, and I'm not picking on you, but I'm just going to make you realize what you're doing, that puts up the arbitrary post on one of your social media platforms, letting everybody know how many weeks till Thanksgiving, Christmas, Christmas Eve. Everybody knows how many weeks there is. You're talking to nobody with those posts. Those weeks, you just copied that from someone else. I get it. But what you should be do is take that post and now put it into play in every single person that sits in your chair. When they're in your chair, like in August or September, hey, did you know Thanksgiving is this many weeks out? Did you want to get in before Thanksgiving, or are we pushing to Christmas? Those conversations should be happening with every single person who sits in your chair, not a random post on social media letting everybody know how many weeks are left. There's just so much you can do by taking that piece of information and applying it to everybody that you actually are talking to, rather than just one time throwing it up there.
Yeah.
You'll get much better results by having the conversations.
Throwing something into a story one day before saying I have openings. No one cares. Nobody's going to see that. Maybe you look at your retention. I would pay attention to that as someone behind the chair. If growing a clientele is important to you, you need to know what your retention looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe staying visible when you're booked. Instead of trying to be the cool kid in town that posts not accepting new clients, maybe you should be accepting new clients. Maybe that's an easy win. Again,
Mm-hmm.
if you're someone that doesn't accept new clients, personally, I don't get it. But also, I'm not dissing you at all.
Mm-hmm.
You do you.
Yep.
But I am saying that your busy season is when you earn that loyalty
Mm-hmm.
for the slow seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's by taking care of people, not saying you don't have time for them.
Right.
All right. So what can we do a few months before? So we're getting ready. We know slow season's coming. We have a few months. Maybe this is summertime. The biggest thing I think is to not panic. And this is where you're going to tighten things up. So this is where we're looking at. We're back to salon owners. This is where we're looking at our rebooking systems. And we're going through and making sure that is frictionless or as frictionless as possible. You should be going every couple of months, every few months, at least a couple times a year, and booking an appointment through your booking software so that you know what it looks like. Don't just assume nothing's changed. Softwares have updates. Softwares get quirky. They get buggy.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you're on top of that. You should probably be looking at the quality of your consultations and what's happening in your salon, because those consultations, let me tell you, we hear all the time about how people will come in and they're like, I had a consultation with Gab. This is maybe a new client. I had a consultation with Gab. I don't think I've ever had a consultation before. And we have other people on our team that are great too. She just pops into mind because people will actually comment about.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. It's something that they remember from their experience with being in her chair.
If you have a front desk, maybe there's something that you can have them making sure that they're following through with, following up with clients, and then setting clear expectations for your team. Now is the time to start working on booking for when it's slow.
Right.
Not when it's slow. So what we do is, for example, we have a pretty flexible, really open schedule. If you want time off, take time off. Our rule, though, is that you cannot come to us and complain when it's already too late because you're not making the money that you want to make because you blocked your schedule out. Those two things can't live together.
Correct.
All right. And then definitely you shouldn't feel surprised by something that you literally saw coming, because it comes every year.
Yeah, I think it's a great time even to take some time off. Maybe you take a day off. When I look for our family vacation in the summer, I plan it in July because I know the salon is slower, so we're not needed as much. It's a easier time to step away, and it makes the rest of July feel busy in my own schedule. I encourage our staff whenever they're like, oh, I'm going to take a week. Let's look where we're the slowest. Take your week then. But maybe if you're one that doesn't really take much time off, when you start to see the trends in your business of where you're slow, be like, you know what? I'm going to take a free day and I'm just going to go read a book or do something just for fun. It would be a way to just really embrace the time off and enjoy it rather than feel discouraged.
So for hair pros, you're behind the chair. It's a few months out. You should know, you've been in the industry, say 5, 8, 10 years. You should know a slow time is coming too, because you should be able to, I don't know, think and remember like what happened year after year.
Right.
So this is where your personal responsibility comes into play. Because again, waiting until you're slow, it's too late at that point. So what does this look like for you? What are some things that you can do? What about looking at your rebooking conversations? I keep talking about that, but that's important.
It's a big one.
What does your conversation look like with these clients? Jen, you gave a few minutes ago, you gave a great one.
Yeah.
What about
the clients sitting in your chair are the ones you should be talking to?
Yes, not random ones that
don't even go
not
to you.
Your random friends on Instagram that went to hair school with you.
Yeah.
They're not coming to you. So who cares? Client education. Are you educating clients? Because when you educate your clients, when you go above and beyond, when you tell them about not only products because you're trying to sell products, but when you're telling them about products that solve their problems, when you're talking about what they can do at home, what tools they could get, what equipment might help them with their hair challenges, you're building trust. You're building loyalty. You're building relationships. And then maybe referrals. We're working on a referral program. We don't currently have one in place. We will by 2026 because it's on my list and that's what I do. But maybe if it's summertime or it's a few months out from when you know it's going to be slow, that's when you start talking to your clients about referrals. Don't wait until you're slow to go, did you know we have a referral program? Because those people aren't waiting for a referral program. They've already booked their haircuts. They've already booked their colors. They've already booked all their services because it's the holiday season. So don't wait until the last second for that stuff. You want consistency before you need it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to make the difference there. All right. During the slow seasons, this is where you want to execute, I call it. This is where you want to go to work. You don't want to scramble and be running around with your head cut off, or a chicken with your head cut off. I don't know, whatever the freaking saying is. So when you're slow, that doesn't mean idle. It doesn't mean freeze. And for a lot of people, that is what it is. But this gives you a chance as a leader, we're back to salon owners, to observe your team. This is the time where you should be coaching your team. This is where you should be making adjustments. And I always say, nudge. Don't do a complete overhaul because you're panicked, because that's not going to leave your staff feeling very confident.
Right.
Act like you have a plan because you have a plan. And what does this look like in practice? Maybe you're checking on your data weekly. Maybe you're somebody I ignore my numbers. We talk to a ton of people that don't even know their break even. Figure that out. Maybe you have time to be in the salon helping out. And we just did an episode where that's not where you should be. But during these slow times, maybe you are in there, but you're active with trying to find friction that you can solve. Like Jen said in her opening take, maybe there's a system that can be repaired. So you're still working. There's still value that you're bringing to your business and you're bringing to your team. I think you need to focus on keeping your morale steady as a leader. If your staff starts going, it's really slow, the rest of your staff is going to go, it's really slow. And then when you go, yeah, it's just really slow, that does not help anybody. You should refocus them. And it could be as simple as doing something. This week, we're doing like what is it called?
Spirit week.
Like a spirit week. Why? To keep morale. We're not personally super slow. Some people are slower or busier than others, whatever. But you want to have your morale up. Do something fun. Or just refocus them. Hey, this week I want to focus on solving at least one problem for each of your clients. Give them something they can take home. Not necessarily something physical, not a retail product, not a gift. That's not what I'm talking about. But give them a piece of information or a piece of education that they can take home and put into practice.
It's just changing their focus. Rather than focus on everything that's slow, you have to have the conversation once it comes up is now it's yours to lead in a different direction, which would be, okay, guys, you have free time. Let's see, what can we work on? It's also, as an owner, a great time to do some one-on-ones. If you're slow and you have some free time, and so does your staff, a great time to take advantage of sitting down with them one-on-one and curating some new ideas.
For sure. And the last thing I'll say here is that that calm, stoic leadership is always going to beat that crazy running around, hyped up person for no reason. And slow seasons are going to reward leaders out there who choose to stay boring. As we talk about it often, like rewriting your playbook, redoing your systems, that's not sexy stuff. Nobody's like posting about that on Facebook.
But it needs to be done.
Or Instagram. Somebody will be now because I just said it. But nobody's posting about staying consistent. They're posting about their giant wins. Again, that goes back to my opening take. All right. I want to talk about social media before we talk about discounting and then wrap up. So social media is not a panic button. We already talked about that. It's a relationship builder. This is where you can build authority. But you can't disappear all year and then decide posting, I have openings, is going to do anything for you. That's not marketing. If you don't post for 6 months and then you post 3 times in a week, that's not consistency.
And then you have no content behind it.
Right. That's just 3 sporadic posts.
Yeah.
Now, we personally don't use Instagram and Facebook heavily as like our majority of our marketing. We just don't rely on it for that. So if you look at our marketing if you look at our social media and want an example of marketing, don't do that.
I look at it, it's just our walking business card. It showcases the type of hair we do, the type of clients that come out, that they're smiling and they're having fun. And that's the environment that we're inviting you into. That's the market there for that.
We understand that people are going to find us on Google or through ads or whatever, and they're going to check out our social media. So there needs to be something there. Correct. And what do we want to put there? We want to put exactly what you just said, Jen. We want to put people having fun. We want to put people getting their hair done, excited, smiling, light and bright,
And
clean
we want to
atmosphere.
put the vibe that they're actually going to get when they come into the salon. Those need to match also so that they're not disappointed.
Yeah, for sure. All right. What else can you do with social media? Let's talk about what you don't need to do. How about that?
Okay.
You don't need to be trendy. You really don't. You don't need to dance. You don't need to go viral. You can be effective on social media by being consistent and
Mhm.
providing solutions to people's problems. That's really it.
Mhm.
I follow so many people on social media that have nothing to do with hair at all, but I find them super interesting. I follow one tax lawyer. She is not exciting to watch, but she always gives good, consistent advice. I follow a sleep doctor. He's a little more entertaining. He's funny, and that's what got me was his hooks. But the information he gets is not really anything crazy. It's that the human body needs sleep, and we all operate better when we have better quality sleep. That's his message. So you don't have to go dancing around and acting like a fool on Instagram trying to go viral because, again, the majority of those people, we talked about this in a past episode, but the majority of those people are never going to come to see you. They might not even live within 1,000 miles of you. So what should you focus on? Familiarity. Just being that familiar face that people see, which is what I was talking about with those
Mhm.
people I follow. Consistency is important. Again, consistency is not 3 times in a week. It's a couple times a week, even once a week for a year, for 2 years.
Right.
Look at our podcast. This podcast, nobody listened to for the first, I don't know, 3.5 years. And then we got here and our numbers are like going up. Like, I don't want to use the word exploding, jinx us or whatever, but
Mm.
it's exploded over the last like
But because we're
6 months or 7
consistent
months.
and
Yeah,
keep going.
we published an episode every Monday for 4+ years. And all of a sudden overnight, people are listening to it.
Mhm.
And the other thing you want to focus on that matters with social media is trust. So you've got to nurture that stuff all year. It's not just going to suddenly work when you're slow.
Again, that's another thing you'd lay a plan out for. What does this look like for your year? What's consistency to you with your social media? And what are you going to commit to and really do?
Exactly. And I just think people should maybe think about it from a different angle. Like, social media itself is not what's going to fill your books. It's the relationships.
Right.
It's if people connect with you. I was at the doctor's today, actually, and he recommended me to see somebody. And he was like, you know what I really like about this? You can go on the website and you can vet the doctors on there. And they even have your picture and they have a little bio and they have stuff about them. And that way you can look at it and see who would I think I would have a good relationship with. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And that's what we're talking about here.
Mhm.
Put yourself out there. Put your clients out there. Think about what people want to see and build those relationships. All right, let's talk about discounting. I hate it.
I was going to say don't do it. Or if you do it, make sure you have metrics to follow to see if it's actually giving you a return on what you're looking to have a return on.
Yeah, let's wrap it up with that. So discounting, for a lot of people, the act of discounting feels like an action.
Mhm.
They feel like they're doing something. But in practice, it just doesn't work.
Right.
And if it did work, you wouldn't see people scrambling to give discounts constantly because
It
they
can look
would be
desperate.
full.
Yeah.
So, what do discounts actually do for your business? Please take it from me. I've made this mistake at several businesses. We've done this, we've gone through this. Discounts don't work. What does a discount actually do? It attracts somebody that's a price first mindset.
Mhm.
If that's your ideal client, go for it. It's not our ideal client. I don't want somebody complaining about a price, which is what you see on social media right now.
Mhm.
I keep seeing that. Clients just keep complaining about the price. That's because you're focused on discounts.
Mhm.
You put it out there that money is the most important thing, their mind goes to money
Right.
because you're not solving any problems. You're only looking at your services as a dollar amount. And what did people used to say a few years back? Oh, charge your worth. What the hell does that mean? What is worth? You're not worth anything unless you can solve somebody's problems.
Right.
I think that coupon chasers, we'll call them because it's kind of a fun term. And again,
Mhm.
if you're somebody that uses coupons, I am not knocking you in any way, shape, or form. But people that chase coupons and chase deals tend to complain more.
And they're just going to chase the next deal. So generally you're not going to retain them, which we talked about as something you should be working on.
Yeah. So I had reduced loyalty. Yeah, they tend to be transient. They're on to the next discount as soon as a better deal comes. And then what are you going to do? Race to the bottom? You're going to do another. So you do a 20% off new clients. Salon across the street does 30. The salon on the corner does 40. What are you doing? Half off?
Right.
You can't, unless you want to compete on price, which you shouldn't, don't focus on discounts.
Right.
It's going to increase your emotional labor. So it's going to pull time away from your best clients and fill your books, if it even works at all, with clients that are all of these things that I'm talking about, or less money, and they're going to make you less happy and less fulfilled. And then you're going to start to be like everyone on Facebook who's going, the industry's changed. It really hasn't.
I do think it creates, for those that give discounts, and hopefully you can relate when I say it, this salty feeling. Like the first time you do it, oh, that felt great. I did good hair. They seemed happy. They liked the price because you gave them the discount. Then they come back in and let's say you're not giving the discount, or maybe they're complaining, so you're giving it again. You're like, why am I giving this discount again? And before you know it, you're not even offering the service at the level you were the first time. So like the offering you give goes down and down and down because you're like, well, now this isn't worth it. I'm not even getting full price for this, which you created. So then you're in this like really kind of downward spiral of just being frustrated. And now you don't know how to tell the client they need to pay this price. And now you're wasting your time. So you have half your clientele that will pay your full price and then half that wants the discount or wants more. And now you're just showing up almost wearing two different hats.
You also get a weird thing where your clients may see this stuff online and wonder, why am I not getting a discount?
Right.
I've been with this person for 8 years and I've never gotten a discount. Now they're offering 30% off.
Now they feel salty.
Take-home products. Maybe I'll go check out somewhere else that's giving discounts.
Yeah.
So don't do that. This stuff is going to leave you, if you start discounting and focusing on this stuff, you're probably going to start asking yourself questions like, why do my clients complain so often? Why does no one respect my time? And most of that is because you're training behavior on discounts. And when your price is the hook, your price becomes the conversation.
Right.
It's really as simple as that. So discounts don't attract better clients. They attract just different clients. And it definitely takes away from your best clients, like Jen, like you just said, right? It shifts attention away from people that would otherwise pay you for your attention. It takes away probably your prime spots that people want, that your clients that are used to getting now can't get because you filled it with discounted clients. And it just costs you an opportunity. I think when you start discounting and relying on that as a marketing tool, it robs you of an opportunity to find those good clients that would fit your book.
And make you feel happy.
So let's wrap up. What can we do? What can we do instead of the discounts and the last minute social media? Why don't you look at your experience as a whole and try to upgrade something? And I saw this online recently, Jen, and I chuckled to myself. Someone said, what are you doing to upgrade your client experience in the new year? And a bunch of people were like, I'm getting new hot tools. I was like, what does that do for the client? Someone was like, I'm getting whatever. It was like something for their salon. And I'm like, what? That doesn't nothing for the client. That's for you. That's not for the client. So maybe start thinking about your experience as the experience you're providing, not necessarily the experience you're getting. Maybe focus on having stronger consultations. That is something that makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
It's something that we opened hello and it was hugely, as Jen would say, important to her. And I was new to hair, so I didn't really get it. I get it now. It's a game changer. You can use, without discounting, surprise and delight. Make someone's day special. Make it about them. That's something you can read. What's that book, Jen? Unreasonable Hospitality? Read that book. Do some little things for people. It blows their minds when you do something for them. And I'm not talking about necessarily giving them something or paying for something, although you can if you're in the position, but you're probably slow. So
here, I'll even give you a tip. Right now, we do this all year long. We have a hot towel warmer that we stock with dry towels, and every client gets their hair wrapped up in a towel so they're not dripping when they go back to the chair. But right now, it is bitterly cold here. So we use the towel warmer times 2. So when they sit down and we're going to put a towel and a cape on them, we first start with a warm towel and they're like, "Oh, that feels so nice." That costs us no extra money, but it levels up the winter experience in the Northeast when they can have a warm towel wrapped around. And then if we go back after we shampoo them, change the towel, give them another warm towel. So we may be doing extra laundry, but these little warm towels that we're putting on them to just give them like a hug makes them feel amazing and everybody loves it. And then we drop a couple little aroma oils on it and then it smells great too. So maybe you need a hot towel warmer, but that's it.
I wrap up all of my services with a steam towel just on the neck and behind the ears on the temples a little bit after a neck shave for the guys that sit in my chair, because and girls, if you're a girl and you sit in my chair, I do the same thing. But yeah, it's just something that
Levels up the experience with
yeah, it's something little and people comment on it almost every single time.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is in the summer, I thought a cold towel would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a bunch of clients that were like, "Can we switch back to the warm towel, please?" That's a little.
I think because the AC is going, so probably the warm towel makes sense.
Yeah, but
these are it's like a very small thing with a very big impact. Sorry.
That's okay. It's something that I tried out because I thought this could be refreshing, and then my clientele was just like, "Let's stick with the warm towel." I dig that.
Yeah.
The last thing I had was just intentional outreach to your existing clients.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to reach out to them, touch base with them, have a newsletter, have something. I don't know, but get in front of your clients, stay in front of your clients. We use AI for that sort of stuff. And again, it gets us clients and that's it. But I think you're not going to avoid slow seasons. So you'll be okay if you plan ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And the panic is optional.
Yeah. Plan and embrace.
Got anything else, Jen? I just rambled for like 40 minutes.
No, happy holidays.
All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.